Now, helping out with a scout group or ferrying kids to sports events on a regular basis could be a thing of the past for parents unless they've had a criminal record check. Thank you for all your emails and texts this morning about this. They could, if they don't get these checks, face a £5,000 fine. The tough new guidelines will affect all adults who have regular contact with children. Marcella Whittingdale has more on this.
Sally Millard's a mother of two and regularly volunteers at her children's school. She believes criminal record checks for volunteers like her would be unhelpful and intrusive.
I think it's really insulting, actually. Every adult is being put under suspicion, and in effect, if you don't have a licence, then there must be something wrong with you.
Under the government's new vetting and barring scheme, anyone who comes into contact with children 3 times in 1 month or overnight will need to be checked. So parents who help out regularly at school or with groups like Cubs or Brownies will all need to be vetted. Volunteers who don't sign up could be subject to criminal prosecution or fines of up to £5,000. Registration for each volunteer will cost £64, and while founders of the scheme believe it will help prevent abuse, critics say it could stop people volunteering with children altogether.
We're joined by journalist, mother and various other things as well. Person of strong opinion generally, Steph Calman.
Say, what other things
Lady of common sense.
You set up an atmosphere of suspicion now.
Lady of common sense. That will do very nicely. How are you? All right?
Yes.
What do you think of this?
Now, well, I've got a couple of thoughts. One is I've read up on this story since I was sort of informed about it this morning, that one among the things which will be brought into consideration, you know, criminal records, that's quite obvious that, you know, if you have a criminal record and or you're a sex offender, obviously you won't be allowed to work with children. We know that. But one of the things that, according to the papers today, is that unproved allegations will be looked into and considered. Now,
that's soft evidence,
so
isn't it?
okay, but yes, it so happens that one of the I've been studying the family courts a little bit lately, and one of the things that happens there is unproved allegations are thrown around in child residency cases. So it seems a bit hard on you if you're a divorced dad whose ex has said, you know, he touched up the children so he's not seeing them, and then you're flung into that situation, making a bad situation even worse. And it seems to me this has not quite been thought through by the Home Office.
Well, so that's a bit of a worry for you, but that's, I mean, how many cases
That's one aspect of it.
Because most people this morning, John Colcliffe in Armadale, I don't see any reason why people should worry about police checks if they have nothing to hide. They've been doing this in Scotland for a long time. That is backed up by others as well, including Catherine.
Oh yes, I don't think it's I agree with the nothing to hide thing. I think what it is it's if it's one more reason to just sort of slightly put you off. The Scout organisation is already apparently very, very short of grown-ups, male and female. And don't you think one of the things that's quite sad about the way children grow up now is the atmosphere of suspicion, the endless fear of strangers, a lot of it unfounded, and the lack of male role models. And, you know, this is another reason why people are just going to think, I can't be bothered to go and join that school trip list.
But with checks like this, people on both sides of this, those who are being looked after, and it includes the elderly as well as children, and their relatives, and the people who are doing the helping and the volunteering, can both know that there is safety and responsibility on both sides.
They can, but I mean, supposedly there was a system in place when Ian Huntley got his caretaking job, having, I gather, changed his name and moved house twice, and, you know, had been guilty, though not convicted, I believe, of sexual assault. So it seems to me whatever system you have, people will get round it. Baby P was seen by 60 professionals before he was murdered. So somewhere along the line, these things don't always work. And surely, don't we want children to have a really nice, healthy, robust relationship with the adults in their lives? And statistically, the most dangerous place to a child is its own home. The Home Office knows that.
Yes, well, I think you make a very good point. It's hard to argue against that.
I'm not saying no checks, by the way. I'm saying it's getting a little bit silly. What are we talking about? Is it something like 11.4 million adults are going to be swept?
I think it'll be, sorry to interrupt, it'll be one of the biggest databases in the world. And I don't know if we've got that best track record, really, looking after massive databases in this country.
No, I think there's a lot of obsessing, measuring, checking. We're the most photographed population in the world. We're the most monitored. And yet, people don't feel safe. The irony of all this is, in general, if you say to parents, why don't your children walk to school? We're amongst the only kids in our area who walk to school. well, you know, they could be taken away by somebody. So there's an atmosphere of sort of generalised anxiety, and it doesn't help that.
And this is going to be a very large organisation, the Independent Safeguarding
Lots of jobs.
Authority.
And who will vet the vetters?
Well, OK, so we've had...
more vetters, probably. And who's going to make some money
more
out
food
of this
for
as
thought
well?
there.
Yeah.
It's around about £60 or so for these
Or it'll be
checks
left
as
to
well.
software, and it'll be left in a disc and a taxi somewhere. I don't really trust it totally.
£60 is a lot of money,
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you, Stephanie. Let us know what you think. Do keep your thoughts and your views coming in. GM.TV is where you send your emails, or text us on 67890. As you know, text costs 25 pence, plus your standard network charges apply. All those terms and conditions found at... And which one is it?
GM.TV/terms.
Well done. You've worked here for how many years?
Kirsty, with the weather too long.
Yes, I'm here with the weather, and I'm bringing you some good news this weekend, believe it or not.
Too.
Yes, sorry about that. It's been a bit delayed, but finally it seems we've almost got a taste of summer.